Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AS and welcome to my YouTube channel. We have reached the end of 2021, which means that 2022 is upon us. As gamers, we are always looking forward to the next video game that evolves familiar gameplay mechanics, revolutionizes the way stories are told, or ones that are unique for multiple reasons. With that being said, it is time to look into the future and rank my top 10 most anticipated video games of 2022. Before we proceed, we need to break down a few ground rules. First, I'm solely focusing on games that either have a concrete release date with a day and month in 2022, or a window release date for 2022. I'm using the schedule on GameInformer.com for the information. Secondly, the nominations are ranked from the game that slightly piques my interest to the title that I absolutely cannot wait to check out. Thirdly, I will include honorable mentions prior to kickstarting the ranking. These picks do not have a launch window for 2022, but I'm crossing my fingers that they will see the light of day next year. Lastly, this list is entirely subjective. If yours is different, please let me know in the comment section so we can discuss them. Without further ado, let's rank my top 10 most anticipated games of 2022, and as promised, I will start by covering some honorable mentions. Dead Space Remake. The original Dead Space for the Xbox 360 is one of my favorite video games of all time. I have been crossing my fingers for the return of the franchise, and my prayers have been answered with a remake. We did not know much about it, but the teaser trailer looks gorgeous, which is a good indication. If the remake plays better than the original, then the Dead Space name will find itself higher on the list of my top 100 video games of all time. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. As of the recording of this video, no other video game has touched Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice when it comes to audio design and pure immersion. Thankfully, they are not the only two positive features of the title. Interesting characters, breathtaking visuals, and an awesome first-time performance by Melina Jurgens. The continuation of Senua's story has been teased and revealed since the debut of the Xbox Series S and X, and it looks mind-blowing. If it can maintain the impact of the first title and perhaps improve the combat system, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 will be the first product since the launch of Microsoft's next-generation console where I will make this recommendation. If you want to buy a new console but do not want to invest in a computer, Hellblade 2 is a good enough reason to invest in an Xbox Series S and X. Star Wars Eclipse. I did not know much about Star Wars Eclipse, but the reveal of the developers is why I had to include it on my list. It is being co-developed by LucasArts and Quantic Dreams, the latter of which created two of my favorite story-based video games, Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. A narrative-heavy tale set in the Star Wars universe saw me up immediately. The Wolf Among Us 2. Aside from The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us is arguably Telltale's best product of all time. The journey of Baby Wolf in a crime-infested city while interacting with familiar faces and solving mystery was a unique take on the fairy tale concept, and the finale left players with a cliffhanger. The Wolf Among Us 2 hasn't been in the spotlight since its reveal a few years ago, but Telltale promised that we will receive some news about it in the early portion of 2022. I hope that it will be released in the latter part of 2022 and as a full product, similar to how Life is Strange True Colors was launched several months ago. The new Mass Effect. The Mass Effect games, starring Commander Shepard, encompass my favorite trilogy in gaming. The memorable characters, the narrative-based choices that create unique consequences, and the wonderful soundtrack still represent the benchmark that every other sci-fi RPG has attempted to reach, but has yet to get their hands on the brass ring. While Mass Effect Andromeda has not enticed me to fully reinvest myself in the exciting universe, BioWare has announced a new game in the series. It is not clear yet where in the timeline does it take place, but it features Liara, which is a core member of Shepard's old crew, giving me hope that it will resemble the trilogy instead of Andromeda. The next Mass Effect title is the one honorable mention that will most likely not be released next year, but it will automatically be my top 10 games of the year whenever it will release. Now it's time to commence the actual countdown, and we will start with number 10, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Ever since The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was released, I have wondered what would an open-world Pokemon game look like. I know that we have Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they are hurt by a difficulty setting that is catered to children and gameplay mechanics that are in extreme need of a change. Well, it seems like both of those concerns will be addressed with the upcoming Pokemon Legends Arceus, which will be exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. Although it is not the most visually stunning game you have ever played, it does tick all of the gameplay-based boxes. Open world, check. Difficulty, check. Different than other Pokemon RPGs? Check and check. I look forward to play Pokemon Legends Arceus, but I'm forced to place it at the number 10 spot because it is coming out in about a month from now and we have not heard a word about it for a while. Let's cross our fingers that it will succeed in its quality as well as the opportunity to change the formula that it has for the most part remained unchanged since the era of the original Game Boy. Pokemon Legends Arceus is set to be launched on January 28th of next year on the Nintendo Switch. Number 9. Babylon's Fall. Do you remember when we talked about Star Wars Eclipse? I said that the only reason that it is featured in this video is one of the developers, namely Quantic Dream. Coincidentally, Babylon's Fall ironically falls under the same category. I cannot tell you anything about the title outside of two key pieces of information. On one hand, it is an action game. On the other hand, it is made by Platinum Games. The latter point is why Babylon's Fall is on my radar. Platinum Games do not appear to miss with their catalog, which includes Bayonetta 2, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and even their more unknown outings such as The Legend of Korra. I've seen many gamers online who are skeptical about Babylon's Fall, so it is only a matter of time until Platinum Games either cements their greatness with Babylon's Fall as one of the leading teams of developers, or proves the naysayers right. Babylon's Fall is set to launch on March 2nd of next year on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. Number 8. Oxenfree 2. One of the more surprising indies that I recently played was Oxenfree, which was recommended by one of my Twitch viewers. It tells the tale of a group of friends who travel to an island for what appears to be a vacation. However, it is quickly revealed that there is something abnormal about the island, and the group must work together to escape in one piece. It is original, gorgeous at times, and accompanied by splendid voiceover performances. Oxenfree 2 looks to continue the success of its predecessor with a similar art style, but an alternate storyline and a different group of characters. As long as Oxenfree 2 manages to maintain the same sense of mystery as the first Oxenfree, I will be a happy camper. Oxenfree 2 is set to launch sometime next year for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Number 7. Planet of Lana. I cannot tell you much about Planet of Lana. More specifically, I cannot reference anything with regards to its story or why the character that is shown in the trailers is on this strange planet. However, what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is that the game looks incredible. The shades of the character models, as well as the environments and monsters that roam around the land, have convinced me to look out for Planet of Lana's release. I'm not sure if it will be on Game Pass, but I will gladly pay the asking price if it is not there upon release. I always appreciate indie titles that shine through their graphical design. The number 7 spot on this list seems to be the next contender. Planet of Lana is set to launch sometime next year for the Xbox Series S and X, as well as the Xbox One and PC. Number 6. Forspoken. Forspoken appears to be a what-if scenario, where the protagonist of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen was teleported to the game's map for modern society and was forced to be a wizard or a mage. It sounds odd, but it's that uncertainty and its status as, I hate to say it, console exclusive on the PlayStation 5 that intrigues me. An exciting opportunity to explore a grand fictional world while taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5 and PC to deliver some extraordinary visual is one that I cannot miss. Details are still sparse on the story, but I have a good feeling about it. Only time will tell. Forspoken is set to launch on May 24th of next year on the PlayStation 5 and PC. Number 5. A Plague Tale Requiem. We have another case here where a first game in the series leads to excitement for an upcoming sequel, and the next example is A Plague Tale Requiem. A Plague Tale Innocence left me in disbelief as to how an indie studio developed a game with the quality of a typical AAA video game. Excellent visuals and level design that rival games from the same genre. Gameplay that is basic, yet it implements some cool mechanics with the boy's powers and the girl's fighting abilities. A story that is heartwarming by its end, but heart-wrenching in its beginning. Upon the announcement of a sequel, it did not take me more than 10 seconds to decide to pick it up, hopefully next year. I have no clue what is in store in the character's next adventure, but rest assured that you will get a review from me. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. A Plague Tale Requiem is set to launch sometime next year on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Number 4. Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo looks ridiculous in the best possible way. A futuristic samurai game with androids and magical powers, I am all ears. I honestly do not know if I'm even accurate with that description. but you would never know by watching the trailer. All I knew as an absolute truth upon the ending of the video is as follows. This game looks fun. I want to play this game. I need this game to be released now. There isn't a definitive release date for Ghostwire Tokyo, but I am probably going to stop all my active playthroughs the second the title becomes available on the PlayStation Store. Ghostwire Tokyo is set to launch sometime next year on the PlayStation 5 and PC. Number 3, Horizon Forbidden West. With all due respect to PlayStation 4 owners, I have to call things as I see it. I wholeheartedly believe that if Horizon Forbidden West would have been a PlayStation 5 exclusive, it would be at the number 1 spot. I understand why it will be on the PlayStation 4 as well, but Guerrilla Games are limiting their options by bringing their quote-unquote next generation experience to a previous generation of consoles. Nevertheless, I'm still very excited for the sequel to Aloy's Journey. Horizon Zero Dawn's pure concept of fighting mechanized dinosaurs had me invested from the very beginning. Fantastic environments, engaging action sequences, and a tale that took a cool twist after the first half are only a few of the positive aspects of the game. My only criticism is the main character, with whom I'm still not on board due to her uninteresting personality. Horizon Forbidden West's gameplay footage thus far improves on everything besides the story, but it is only because it thankfully does not reveal too much about it. If Guerrilla Games' next outing has a memorable plot, I predict that you will see Horizon Forbidden West make an appearance 2 more times on my YouTube channel, once as a review and once in my top 10 games of the year for 2022. Horizon Forbidden West is set to launch on February 18th of next year on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Number 2, WWE 2K22. The one pick I can foresee as a head scratcher, so allow me to explain myself. Despite my constant criticism of the current televised program, I have always been a fan of the WWE. My exposure to wrestling started back in middle school when John Cena had one of his feuds with Kurt Angle, and my first wrestling-based video game, which has remained undefeated to this day, is WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 for the PlayStation Portable. Ever since then, multiple video games that feature the likes of The Undertaker, John Cena, and Triple H have been placed on store shelves. Some of them are great like WWE 13. Others are atrocious like WWE 2K18 for the Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, WWE games as of late have been heavily downplayed, and rightfully so. The most recent outing, WWE 2K20, was poorly designed and executed, to the point that WWE 2K21 was scrapped and never released. Next year, WWE is making a comeback with 2K22. If the trailer is an indication to anything, the developers are taking their products seriously, with character models that are far better than 2K20 superstars and modes that fans have been requesting for years. WWE 2K22 is the biased pick on this list, sure, but I believe that WWE 2K22 warrants a spot if it can bring wrestling games back to their glory days. WWE 2K22 is set to launch sometime next year. Number 1, The Callisto Protocol. Earlier in the video, I voiced my anticipation for the Dead Space remake, which is based on one of the most horrifying experiences you will ever play. Speaking of which, the original trilogy was developed by Visceral Games. Sadly, Visceral Games was disbanded by Electronic Arts after the lackluster third Dead Space title, forcing Isaac Clarke to end his journey with an incomplete plot. We may never see an ending to Isaac's adventure as he fights the Necromorphs. However, we will see some of the people from Visceral Games shine once again in the horror genre with a project called The Callisto Protocol. Little information is known at this time, but the Red Band trailer is intense, terrifying, and gruesome. My anticipation for this game is through the roof, and I have complete faith in the team behind the Callisto Protocol to deliver a game changer in its respective genre. Therefore, I have no choice but to name this game as my most anticipated video game of 2022. The Callisto Protocol is set to launch sometime next year. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. What is your most anticipated video game of 2022? Why is that? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.